Welcome back. This is the 32nd segment out of 63 in our series, Because It's True, making the case for Christianity in bite-sized pieces. Now, when the question of the resurrection of Jesus comes up, we have said that there have been 6 major counter arguments that have been put forth over the centuries as to what may have happened to the body if, in fact, he was not raised from the dead. Now, we looked at 2 in the last segment, and we want to look at 2 more in this segment, the first of which is called the wrong tomb theory, and that is that the women, so distraught and so grieved at the events causing the death of the man that they loved and followed, they ended up going to the wrong tomb. Now, the problem with this view is that it requires you to believe that neither the enemies of the faith, i.e. the Roman authorities or the religious leaders, or the men who followed Jesus, knew where the right tomb was. So that if the women had gone to the wrong tomb, why didn't, again, the enemies of the faith simply go to the right one and produce the bodies? And are we to believe that Peter and John also went to the wrong tomb? They made the same mistake. And that Joseph of Arimathea, who owned the tomb, didn't know where the right one was? And in addition to that, it's important to note that this was not a public cemetery. This was a private burial ground. So the idea of the women going to the wrong tomb, this theory is simply unreasonable. Now, another theory is called the swoon theory. It purports that Jesus did not actually die, that he was mistaken to be dead, that under the pain and the exhaustion and the loss of blood, he passed out. He swooned. And then when he was laid in the coolness of the tomb, he revived and appeared to his disciples, who then mistook him as having risen from the dead. Now, this theory first appeared in the 18th century, so centuries passed before this idea ever even cropped up. And what it means is that you've got to believe that even though he was savagely and brutally beaten prior to his crucifixion, to the point where he could not carry his cross all the way, and Simon of Cyrene had to be forced to carry it for him, that Christ then survived 3 days in a damp tomb without food or water or attention. That he survived being wound up in cloths that were just laden with spices. And that he had the strength to remove the grave cloths, push the stone away, overcome or somehow sneak past the guards, walk miles on feet that had been spiked with nails, and show up giving the impression that he is a resurrected Messiah. In addition to that ludicrous scenario, you've got problems with the fact that the Romans, they just never failed in carrying out crucifixion to the point of death. And secondly, those involved with his burial, both friends and officials, they were not oafs. They knew if someone was alive or dead. They could put a mirror under their nose. This theory is not only unreasonable, it's unreasonable many times over.